rules as they go, intend to rebuild the final Temple of Jerusalem. If this temple is allowed to be completed, it marks the end of this world as we know it. This of course is in the prophecy that has so far been correct up until this very moment. All that is left is to remove the Dome of the Rock. This becomes the ultimate setup for the humans by these bloodthirsty deities. The Islamic prophecy reads that when the Mahdi returns, he must have his feast in the Dome of the Rock before he emancipates the Muslims. The Muslims are charged with making sure the Dome of the Rock is available at all times just in case he returns. On the flip side, unless the Dome of the Rock is removed and the Temple of Solomon rebuilt, New Jerusalem cannot descend from the mount. This of course the Zionist will not stand for, neither will the Muslims. So this equals a no-win situation for these two brothers who have been fighting forever, and the clock is ticking down for them both. They have also dragged everyone else into their battle through religion, although they refuse to give the masses the full details of what took place on Tiamat, the enemy of Mudjik. So let us look closer at the similarities of these faiths to see that this has gone far beyond belief in the Most High and is about domination, destruction, and chaos. Do keep in mind this is all an inside job, and the people that war with each other are the sacrifice. 190 PAGE. Reason 142. The Dome of the Rock. This is the most sensitive spot in the world. If it's touched, it will be like getting into a small box with thousands of queen hornets who are protecting their larvae. Many Muslims have lost the focal point. Their language was one of the first codes to the Matrix, so they face a different matter that the Most High will have to deal with personally. I will just say, when one is wise and ready to grow, they will be flexible like a reed, thus they will bend a little for Innerstanding. This is growth. If one is brittle, they will break the moment something comes that blows surprise towards them, thus in a world full of surprises they do not fare well and the experience eludes them. I know this because I was the most brittle, and the Most High soaked me first so that I would not break under the truth, which is heavy for man and woman and must be given in stages. On this ladder there are those who are coming up and those who are going down. They now use eleve waters, so if the guided do not rally behind the one with the idea which comes before the name, then they will not see abad eternity, without end, and may find their companions in the fire, which is purification. I'm just an agent myself, dictating faithfully what has been revealed to me by the Most High, who controls all things and which all must draw their substance, as all expect to take their next breath but see it not before it goes into the body. First off, the Temple of Solomon has already been reconstructed, and I will show you two of them, although many more exist. They serve as portals. The wormhole, amongst many things, allows a person to travel anywhere on Earth in an instant. Not just anyone can travel through the wormhole. The auric field of the person has to be enhanced. It is said the elements on the wall of the wormhole dissolve anything they come in contact with that is not geometrically configured properly. This is necessary to disassemble and reassemble the atoms in perfect form. The common worshipper is told the temple is yet to be rebuilt. What a hoax! One of those temples is the Roslyn Chapel and the other is in Winnipeg, Manitoba, the heart connection of Canada and North America. In sacred geometry, a double square makes 8 points, thus linking the double square to the 8-pointed star of Allah. The Roslyn Chapel, founded by Sir William St. Clair, called Sinclair Prodigies Knight of the Cockle and Golden Fleece, changed their name to Roskilde, which later became Roslyn, Sir Henry, and Pentland. This is also the lineage of Sir William, the first Grand Master Mason of Scotland. The chapel contains 22 Masonic marks. The rights of Master Mason was granted to William, 191 PAGE. By King James II, the two were great friends. This family became so famous and respected they were even allowed to coin money. Passing 3 times around the limestone or boundary stone of Roslyn was known to grant whoever was allowed to do it unique abilities. The temple was always guarded to prevent anyone from doing this without the leave of the hierarchy until the chalice was removed. The temple was a great resort for gypsies who ever inhabited the place, and the physical Holy Grail was stored for some time in the chapel until it became unsafe and had to be moved. Reason 143. Most are uninvited to the hyperdimensional party. How I see it is the Earth is near its regeneration cycle, just like after the close of Atlantis and Lemuria, when the Earth lay dormant on the surface for thousands of years before it could be habitable again. The elite are only taking care of their own, thus a few must come together and make a bridge to higher planes or get left behind. 192 PAGE. The Muslims and Jews bear witness that Abraham was their father and all races descend from him, which I pointed out earlier is absurd. I found the stories of Abraham and Sarah to be none other than the stories of Ab, meaning father, and Braham, a Brahman. Brahman and his wife Saraswati can also be found in the Hindu Puranas, which is much older than the Bible and of course the Quran. The Brahmins were a group of beings that leaned more toward the masculine side and may be some of the first sun worshippers, themselves being sons of the sun, which meant endowed with discovered immortality. This also means they have completed a succession of incarnations in which they know of their previous existence and are continuing their cycle of ethereal development. Beings that are aware of this are far more advanced than those who cannot remember past lives. Imagine what another 100 years of memory would do for your perspective of things. The Bible's composition itself is a hodgepodge of several ancient books and powerful works accomplished by various individuals, especially of Sumerian origin, all combined in one final novel next to the Quran. Both of these books say pretty much the same thing. The Quran is a book of repetition, repeating the same poetic words over and over in various ways about the penalties for not serving Allah. It pretty much boils down to being completely obliterated by fire and demons that rip the flesh apart, then brought back to life, and obliterated again for the sake of the pain. This is to take place for an eternity. Talking about scare tactics. Other penalties for sins are described in such ghastly detail the believer is generally in fear of Allah. Both religions maintain they have delivered the final book, and all other books that do not bear witness should not be entertained by the believer. The Quran bears witness to the Old Testament and what it calls the Injil, which is the New Testament, as being authentic works of the same God, thus welling the two faiths together even tighter. Both books claim to be storehouses of numeric and alphanumeric codes in which only those who are trained in Kabbalah or Abjad can decipher. I read the Bible 3 times from cover to cover, and it was only until the 3rd time that the book unlocked. One must agree that most Christians have never read the complete Bible. They may have come close, but skip books like Leviticus and Numbers. In these books there is lengthy detailing of numbers, especially in the section concerning the building of the temple. All these numbers are actually the codes that can be deciphered to bring forth immense amounts of Gnostic information. All letters in Hebrew double as numbers, so the numbers actually spell words. Those words were the names of various energies related to controlling whatever was being discussed in that particular scripture in some symbolic way. For example, if it was 13 bushels of wheat, whatever that translated to in Hebrew was the god or goddess of wheat, let's say. Furthermore, it should not escape the reader's attention that the priests of this time had to be from the tribe of Levi. Levi is also an anagram for evil, which makes even more sense when you consider the role of the Leviathan that seems to be playing a heavy role in controlling our mind, especially while asleep. Leviathan is said to also be Cthulhu. This name Levi given to the priests called in Hebrew Cohen, 193 PAGE. Another anagram for Enoch, can't get any more obvious, but as the yogis say, people are sleepwalking in an illusion. The Spanish word noche, which is night, is also an anagram for Enoch. 194 PAGE. Reason 144. There are in fact several arks constructed for the purpose of keeping items sacred to the deity. There was the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark of Ra, the Ark of Mary, and numerous others. The word arch means bow or a vessel such as Noah's Ark, thus the original arks were used as crafts. Contact could also be accomplished by these devices through transport, hologram, or wormhole. Just as we upgrade constantly, these beings have upgraded also. Imagine the difference in a Cessna and a stealth bomber. The dispute between these two nations remains partly due to the issue of the birthright that was stolen from Ishmael, although he was the eldest son. It goes on that Abraham built the first altar with the assistance of his eldest son Ishmael, who later became the father of the 12 tribes of the Arabs Ad, Samad, Jadis, Tarsum etc. This altar was known as the Kaaba of Mecca.